Oh, Jesus. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Holy crap. I haven't been here in a very long time, and I apologize for that. I'm making this episode, I guess, about my life right now and where I'm choosing to take it, I guess. I don't know. I did another video on my bigger channel, my main channel, about where I've been, what I'm gonna try to start doing as far as like creating content. And I guess my podcast is where I do more long form talk for maybe an hour about stuff in depth. So I figured I would make an episode. Why not? I haven't made an episode in a very long time. And I figured I'll talk about what it is I've been doing and considering in my life. And yeah. So, I mean, let me just jump right into it. The end of 2018 was rough, to say the least. And the beginning of 2019 is starting to get better. For the simple fact that I've come into my own as far as figuring out, without the influence of anybody else, without wondering if it's the right thing for somebody else, figuring out what's good for me. And there's been a lot of self-reflection over the last 2.5 years of my life. Since I started doing YouTube, a lot of personal things behind the scenes that you guys don't know about and will never know about have gone on, and it's helped me genuinely to grow. You know, with certain pain and certain trials and tribulations, there is growth. That is just the truth of the matter. You learn a lot if you're willing to about who you are, where you want to be, where you've been, where you're headed, all of those things. So my journey started almost 3 years ago now, but I feel like this is a new chapter in that journey for me to really, I feel like my life has been kind of on this weird, sorry, I had to throw my phone because it was interfering. My life has been on this weird kind of path, and I've been traveling down this path, I feel like, somewhat with my eyes closed, not knowing why I'm doing certain things, what I'm doing it for. I guess that's the same thing. And how I'm going to do it and where I want to go. Not really having a destination, I guess. I mean, I guess in a certain way I did have a destination for starting this YouTube channel. Obviously, I want to put myself out there and connect with people and put my music out there and put me out there and, I don't know, hopefully make something of it. That's definitely a goal of mine, and it's been a goal of mine. It's not something I'm going to stop. But at the same time, I understand that, or I felt that my life needed a little bit more direction. I've been in school, and I'm just about to finish up my associate's degree. After this semester, I'll have my associate's degree. And obviously, I want to move on to my bachelor's. And I've been, for years, since I started school, trying to figure out academically what it is I want to do, what it is I want to study and learn. And I've been back and forth with this idea of going into the health field because I don't know if I have what it takes to do what doctors and nurses do. I don't know if I have the stomach for it. I don't know if I have the emotional capability to not get attached to patients and people. I'm a people person. I love people. I love connecting with people. I get attached to you guys. You know, if you reach out and I feel a connection with somebody, I get attached. And if things happen, it affects me. I'm very empathic in that way. I've always been that way. And I think another huge reason why I kept veering away from the medical field was because I didn't know if it was my own idea or if it was just an influence. It was being influenced by other people around me. Not in a bad way, but I was looking at other people that I admired and saying, wow, you know, that's a great career to jump into. Let me kind of follow suit. Again, not in a bad way. Not obviously, it's not a negative influence, but I wasn't sure if it was my own thought or if it was just like I was watching other people make choices to be in the medical field and I just kind of wanted to tag along, I guess. The roughness of the end of 2018 led me to really be able to sit on my own, alone with no other influences, and just kind of talk to myself and ask myself, what is it that you want to do? And I'm interested in so many things academically. You know, philosophy is something I'm so friggin' interested in. I'll never stop being interested in it. And who knows, maybe after I finish nursing, because that's what I have decided I'm gonna try and do. Maybe I'll go back to school and I don't know. I love school. It sounds so geeky, but I really do love being in school and learning. I love learning new things. So who knows? Maybe I'll minor in philosophy and major in you know, get my bachelor's in nursing. I don't know yet. I still don't know. I do know though at this point I am taking the steps toward trying at least to be accepted into a local nursing program here where I live. That is definitely what I've decided. It feels weird to kind of actually have something set in stone. And again, I still don't know if I'm going to even like it. I don't know if it's something that I'm going to want to continue to do, but I know it's something that I want to try out. And it's because of my self-reflection and me being on my own that I've come to this conclusion solely by myself, with myself, for myself. And that excites me. That excites me a lot. You know, like I said, and I'll continue to say this, and maybe that's the main theme of this entire podcast. Overall, that's the foundation of why I even started this podcast, was to let people know your trials and your tribulations and the bad things that happen to you in your life and the pain. It's not there to make you suffer. You can be the one to wallow in it and essentially end up suffering and let it take you and change you for the worse. But the universe doesn't give you an obstacle just to fuck with you, to make you feel like shit. You get an obstacle so you can overcome it and grow from it and learn. And if you're open to it, that's the key. You have to be open to really analyzing it and being like, okay, well, you know what? Why is this situation happening in my life? What is it that I need to face in my life? What is it about myself that I need to face? What is it about the situation that I could have done differently to change the outcome? What is it? And then you start to really pick apart and kind of reverse engineer the situation and pull out reasons as to how it happened, why it happened. And once you figure out why certain things happen in your life, whether you feel you have no control over the situation or not, if you're in a certain situation, most likely you had an influence in why that situation ended up happening. Most of the time. We create our own realities, you know? And that's what I did. And then once you figure out certain things about the situation. You know, for the future now, you have the knowledge to know what not to do next time around, next time a similar situation comes about. You know how to protect yourself. You know how to protect another person or people involved. You know how to better act and react in certain situations. And sometimes that's the best thing that can happen to you, you know? Not to say that whatever I had going on, the roughness was the best thing that ever happened to me. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying sometimes in life, it can be. I know that I'm always looking for a positive in a negative, or at least trying to take a negative and turn it into a positive. And in the situation that I had going on at the end of the year, and in some instance still have going on, and working through on my own, I've realized that I have always been the type of person, always, and this was the reason for my video on my YouTube channel, my main channel. I've always been the type of person to live my life for others. Sometimes on autopilot, just make decisions not because of what I want or what I need or what makes me feel good, but because I'm a people pleaser and I loved making people happy. And I felt like if I was making people happy, then essentially I was making myself happy. But you tend to convince yourself that it's the right thing to do and that you're being selfless, when realistically you're not. You're essentially selfishly doing things for other people, either to just make them happy, but realistically to make yourself happy. I can't explain it. I really can't explain it, and I can't say that that's the reason why I was. You know what it is for me? It was my fear of being left. My fear of, oh my God, if I don't do everything these people want me to do, they're going to leave me. They're going to abandon me. And, you know, if it was a relationship, go find someone else. Or if it's a friendship, they're going to, you know, not want to be my friend anymore. If I tell them, hey, you upset me, you know, or whatever, you were out of line. Oh, I'm going to lose this person, or I'm going to whatever. And then it's like you continue to do that until the universe basically gives you a situation that you cannot avoid facing yourself. You know, you can't avoid your biggest fear. You can run away from your biggest fear for the rest of forever. Well, no, you can't. You could run away from your biggest fear for as long as you can, but eventually it's going to come right back in your face somehow, some way, and it's going to come in your face as a huge lesson. Somebody I used to know and talk to back when I was very younger, an older woman, used to say to me, the universe gives you little signs and clues as to what you should be doing in your life, what the right path is. You have the free will to look at those signs, those subtle signs, and say, okay, that's a subtle sign. That tells me I belong here on this path. Or you can do the opposite and be like, oh, whatever. I'm still going to go against whatever is being shown to me subtly. But the more you ignore the signs, the more you ignore the subtleties, the less subtle those signs get, if that makes sense. So, okay, so let's say, hypothetically speaking, you're afraid of commitment. You're afraid of being in a committed relationship, or you're afraid of being in love because you have abandonment issues and you're afraid that if you give your all to a person, that person's just going to leave you anyway. You're going to fall short. You're going to disappoint them. So you have this person in front of you that you love more than anything on this planet, and who loves you more than anything on this planet. And instead of going and being with them, which essentially would be the right thing to do, because obviously you're following your heart, you're following your soul, you deeply love this person. Instead of doing that, you veer to, let's say, a casual relationship with somebody else where it's not sexual, but whatever, right? Whatever it is, you're like, you know what? This is scary. I'm not going to do this. Let me kind of mingle with this person, right? All of a sudden, the person starts showing signs of like red flags, and you get out quick because you're like, whoa, it's not something I want to deal with. Holy crap, that person's psychotic. And it ends up being like a tiny little blip on the radar of the situation. Nothing huge, nothing earth-shattering, right? So you move on with your life. Still, that situation doesn't prompt you to reconsider, like, holy shit, maybe this is the universe telling me I should just be with the person that I love. Like, obviously, I tried something with somebody else. I tried to, like, maybe entertain somebody else. Didn't work out. Maybe this means something. You miss that sign, that subtle sign. So again, you kind of get, let's say, you kind of get close to the person that you're with or the person that you love. Then all of a sudden, something happens and you become extremely afraid. Really, really afraid. And because of that, you end up running away again. But this time you run away even further and you meet somebody else and you develop a relationship with this person and you develop some sort of intimacy with this person because you're so afraid to be with the person that you love. And then all of a sudden, what will happen is the universe will give you another sign. But this time it'll say, well, you didn't get that subtle sign last time. Now I'm going to give you an even bigger sign. And this person's going to be even more psychotic and even more crazy. And now you're kind of somewhat intimate with this person. You have more, not deep, but deeper ties to this person than you did the last person. So now it's going to be even harder for you to get out of. Now it's going to be even more difficult and more complex and complicated than the last situation. That's kind of how the universe works, right? It'll give you subtle signs at first, and then it'll give you really big ones. And the more you walk away, the more you refuse to see those signs, the less subtle and more earth-shattering and more earth-shattering those signs become, until you have no choice but to face whatever it is you're running away from. Because we're all here for a reason. Whether you believe in God or whatever the hell it is you believe in, we are all here for a purpose. It could be to just learn something in life. But if we missed a lesson the first time, it's kind of like taking a class. You take a class, you don't take it so seriously the first time. It's a class you need. Let's say you're going into nursing. It's a class you need, anatomy and physiology. But you think you got it. You think you know all the answers, and I don't need to study for this shit. So you don't. And you don't take it seriously. You don't show up as much as you should. You don't take as good a notes as you should. And you end up failing the class, right? So what happens? Well, if you want to continue onto your nursing career, you have to retake the class and get a good grade. Okay, so you take it a second time. The second time, you're a little bit more serious, but still not serious enough. Okay, so you get a D now. Okay, well now you have to retake it again. And this is basically how the universe works. The universe will basically do this to you. It's like, okay, you missed that lesson on love. You missed the lesson on learning how to open yourself up and stop being afraid and just be vulnerable to the person that you love so that you can be happy. Okay, you missed that. All right, well, here's another lesson, but this time it's going to be a little bit harder. If you missed that lesson, well, here's another one. This time it's going to be even harder than the last two. And that's basically, in my opinion, what this situation has been. For me, for other parties involved, I think that's what the situation has been. And I can definitely say, I can't sit here and say I've learned all that I need to learn and I'm done, because we're human beings and we don't ever stop learning. The minute you stop learning is the minute you stop growing, and the minute you stop growing is the minute you stop surviving. And at that point, then, what is life? It's meaningless. But life can't be meaningless. You know what I mean? So this situation has taught me many things, but it's also brought me to clarity on where I'm going in my life, where I want to go in my life for me and only me. And I can see my individual future. And that's a good feeling, It's a very good feeling. And basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm going to try this out. I'm going to give it a try, because I've had a lot of time to think. For years, I've been going back and forth, do I want to be a PA? Do I want to be a nurse? Do I want to, I've even juggled with the idea of going to med school. And then I've juggled with the idea of going to naturopathic med school. And then I've juggled with, it's always gone back to something in the medical field. I can tell you that. For me, nursing, the reason why I'm deciding to do nursing is because, well, first of all, I want to continue my education past a bachelor's degree. I either want to get a master's or a doctorate, depending. Probably a doctorate, because I'm so extra. I always have to go all the way with shit. That's just my personality. I feel like if I'm going to go for something, I'm going all the way. So I'll most likely get my doctorate and become a nurse practitioner and become Dr. Franco, the nurse practitioner. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Another reason why I kind of veered away from this path was because I always convinced myself that it has to be one or the other. It has to either be music and YouTube or school, one or the other. And I realize it doesn't have to be. When I become a nurse, when I get my BSN and become a nurse, I can work 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts, and then do music 2 out of the 4 days that I'm off. And then the other 2 days actually have a social life, some sort of social life, or all the 4, whatever it is. It's kind of like, I don't have to, just like I said on my main channel, in regards to that channel, in regards to the channel and the content, I don't need to put myself in a box. It doesn't need to be, okay, if you're going for nursing, then you just need to be a nurse and that's it. No. Music is who I am. It's how I am. It's what I am. It's what I want to be. It's everything. It's saved me. It's made me me. It is a part of me. It is inside of me. That sounds really bad. But it is. It's within me. And there's no way ever that I'll be able to give that up completely. And I know that I'm not going to. I know it's going to be something I'm always going to do. And if it takes me somewhere, it takes me somewhere. And if it doesn't, well, I don't give a shit because I'll always have it anyway. You know? It's like getting married to somebody that you love and you can't live without. It's like, well, okay, if we win the lottery, we win the lottery. But if we don't, then at least we still have each other. That's like my relationship with music. You know, it's like if we become successful, we become successful. That's great. But if not, then I still have music. And I think a lot of this year has also been that too. You know, I put a lot of pressure on myself when it came to making videos on YouTube and being proactive in staying connected to everybody, and musically trying to take on all these projects with other producers while at the same time trying to do my own projects and setting challenges from the 52 song challenge that I did. And I got halfway and then finally like just burnt out. You know, I'm a human being. The goal was there. I'm proud that I even got to 26 songs. You know, I wrote 26 songs in a year and they're all pretty dope songs. I've listened to them. I got to put them out though. You'll definitely hear those songs eventually. Then it was, you know, okay, making a music video and making music videos and visuals for all of this stuff while all at the same time trying to have a social life and go to school. I just put so much on my plate. And I realized I shouldn't have, you know. In life, I'm not going anywhere. God willing. In life, you just have to focus on one thing or maybe two things, two big things at a time. So I'm not saying you won't see videos from me. Like, that's not it. This is my sanctuary. This is what I love to do. This sitting here in front of these lights and in front of this camera, in front of this microphone, talking to you guys and connecting with you guys. That's something I love to do. It's not something I'm going to stop doing. I'm going to fit that into everything that I have planned over the next 2-3 years of my life. But I know at this point, the main focus for right now, as long as this is still just, you know, a hobby for me, the main focus is going to be school and bettering my career and bettering my education. That's going to be the main focus. And if I, you know, can post a video once a week, if I figure out even what it is I want to post, then so be it. If I don't, then I don't. But I can't, again, in my life, in every aspect of my life, and this is something I've really tried to consider or work through in therapy, in every single aspect of my life, I gave people the driver's seat to my car and said, here, take the wheel and you direct. I'll be the passenger in my life. And I feel like I'm at this point where I'm finally like, no, you know what? I'm in the driver's seat. This is my motherfucking car. I'm going to drive this. I'm going to drive this thing finally. And that's in every aspect of my life. And there are moments where I'm still behind the driver's seat and I let people take the wheel just to kind of swerve a little bit. You know, there's still those moments, but I still know I'm behind the driver's seat and I'm at the pedals and I can hit the brakes or accelerate anytime I want, and I can take the wheel back. And I do, you know. And I feel like even down to my music and my YouTube channel, like I was just giving other people the control. And I've kind of just walked away from certain situations because I got to a point where I threw my hands up and I was just like, fuck it. I'm not letting anybody drive. And if people want to jump out of the car because they're not in the driver's seat anymore, then so be it. Then they don't deserve to be in the car, you know? And I touched on this again. I keep referring back to that video. I touched on this in my video on my main channel. When it came to the channel, or when it comes to the channel, and everything that I've built up to this point, the community that we've created with one another, my YouTube channel, I said it then. If people don't like my choice in content or my choice in upload schedule and they want to leave, then so be it. I'm at that point in my life. Again, in every aspect. If you don't like what I'm doing, how I am, if there's a piece of me or what I'm doing that keeps you from wanting to be here as a supporter, as somebody in my life personally, then go. My lesson was being so afraid that people were going to walk out of my life. But like I said, the universe will give you your biggest fear if you are not taking the right steps to learning what you should be doing and what you need to do. The universe will give it to you, whatever your biggest fear is. So it's like, let's say your biggest fear is being left by somebody. And out of that biggest fear, you're so afraid this person is going to leave you that you put your grip into them so much that because you don't want them to leave. You don't want them to go find somebody else. You feel inadequate and you don't want them to realize, or you don't want them to move on to something better. So you dig your heels in, you dig your claws in to prevent them from leaving, whatever that means. Whether it's like being so paranoid and constantly wondering what they're doing if you don't hear from them and yada yada, that essentially in doing that, you end up pushing them away. You end up manifesting that person being with somebody else. Same thing with, let's say, a fear of being with the person that you love. You run away from that person so much because you're so afraid of letting them down and you're so afraid of falling short. But every time you run away from that person, every time you do that, you do disappoint. And you disappoint more and more the more you do it, you know? And essentially, you end up not getting what it is you want and deserve, i.e. the person that you love and want to be with. And B, yeah, you do end up creating that reality of being a constant disappointment. It's kind of like just going against the energy that is just naturally flowing. You're going to create a rift. You're going to create tension. And that tension is going to build up to be something hopefully not too earth-shattering, but something pretty crazy. And yeah. So my lesson was just to love myself enough and know enough within myself without seeking validation from everybody else, without seeking validation from you guys, or seeking validation from a producer, or seeking validation from a relationship, or from my mother, or from my father. I had to give myself validation and let myself know, you know what? No matter where the chips fall, no matter what happens, no matter if I get denied 30 million times by executive executives at labels, or if I get rejected 30 million times by my parents, or whatever it is. At the end of the day, none of that matters or should matter, because I should be validating myself. I should know within me, for me, about me, that I am good enough, capable enough, smart enough, sexy enough. And damn it, at this point, honestly, it sounds crazy, but I'm pretty much almost there, you know? I know my worth at this point, and I don't think I did prior to the end of this year, the end of last year, 2018. I didn't know my worth. But when you do know your worth, you're not afraid of who's going to walk in and out of your life, mainly out. When you know what you have to offer somebody or people, you're not afraid of standing up and being like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Take it or leave it. You're going to leave it? Okay, bye. I know what I have to offer. I was afraid to do that in every single aspect of my life. So afraid. My therapist used to say, like, wow, do you see that? You're so afraid to ask for money from these producers that are reaching out to you for your voice and your writing abilities. You're so afraid that if you ask for money, they're going to be like, whoa, I'm offended, and go away, and you're going to somehow miss out on something. But what you're forgetting to realize is they're reaching out to you. You're not going and chasing after anybody. I don't go and look for producers and hit up producers and say, oh my God, can I get a track? And if I did, that producer wouldn't just be like, yeah, sure, here. That producer would say, yeah, totally, that'll be $500, $700 for one track. And this was something I had to really, really dissect in my life. And even when I started dissecting it and I thought I had it pinned down and I thought I had it under my grasp, I really didn't, because there were still certain situations where I wasn't acting in accordance with my worth because I didn't know it. And this does tie into me going into nursing school, because it's like, I don't care. I know that I'm capable and smart enough to do it, and I am willing to risk whatever in order to just try it out. I'll never know if I don't try. But at the same time, I'm not afraid to pursue it, because I'm not afraid that if somebody comes into my life and says, whoa, you don't have time for me? You're in nursing school? You have these goals to become a nurse practitioner? Holy shit, you're going to be in school for the next however long. I'm never going to see you. Bye. Okay, bye. See you later. That's where I'm at in my life. I am no longer, and it's a kind of freeing, liberating feeling when you're no longer living in the fear of somebody leaving. When you rid yourself of that fear, you're like, wow, I could literally sit here in my underwear and shart my pants and not have to worry about if that's gross or not. That's not what I do. So just so everybody knows. But like, I could literally sit here and eat my toenail clippings if I wanted to. And that's what I want to do, you know, and nobody can tell me that it's wrong or gross. I mean, it is gross, but nobody can judge me for it. And it's not like, oh, nobody can judge me for it because I'm a loner and I'm alone. Like, nobody can judge me for it because if they do, I don't give a shit. And that's a good feeling, to not give a shit. And again, that's where I'm at with these producers, with my YouTube channel. Not that I don't give a shit about, I care about people's opinions, and I take people's opinions into consideration. I'm a considerate person, but at the end of the day, if somebody's going to make a rash decision for a choice I'm making that makes me happy, no. In that instance, then you can leave. I'm not a closed-minded person. If somebody came to me and was like, listen, I miss your reaction. Let's say I miss your reaction videos. They were like my favorite. Can you at least, try and do one every other week or one every week? Great. That I take into consideration. But if somebody were to come in and be like, you're doing one a week? I liked it better when you were a reaction channel. Fuck this, I'm unsubscribing. Bye. I don't care if I lose 20,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter to me. The subscriber count does not matter to me. I need to be doing what I love to do in every aspect of my life. Period. And if anybody doesn't like it, if somebody has a problem with it and wants to unsubscribe or leave and go watch somebody else, do what you got to do. I am only in control of myself, but I am in control of myself, and that's it. That's where I'm at in my life. And that's where I'm working toward being 100%, because I'm not 100% there, but I'm definitely nowhere near where I was at all. Because certain situations just happen in your life that really open your eyes to who you are and how you've been and how you can be better for you. I've always thought, how can I be better for this relationship? And I'm not talking like romantically. I'm just saying, like, how can I be better for my mother? How can I be better for my sister? How can I be better? It was always, what can I do for you? How can I be for you to make you most comfortable? To make you happy? Same thing with the YouTube channel. What can I do for everybody else? No, that's 2019. That is not how I'm living my life. It's not. It's just not. Obviously, it didn't work out up to this point, given certain situations that have happened in my life. So why would I continue doing that? And the crazy thing is when you start, or at least I've heard, when you start to live your life for you, then you begin to attract the right opportunities and situations that are for you and people, friends, whatever it is. When you go against those lessons, you attract people that are going to give you more of that lesson that you're missing. It's all energy. So it's like the one thing we should not be resisting are the lessons that we need to learn in our lives. Lessons are good. They're very good. But the universe will knock you on your fucking ass if you don't open your eyes. Unfortunately. And there are some people who never will. There are some people who feel they can't, are too afraid to. And that's okay. That doesn't make those people bad people. Or maybe a little stupid, but it doesn't make them bad. But that's kind of, I guess, what has led me to where I'm at right now. And what I've been doing is basically just preparing, finishing up the prerequisites that I need, making sure I have a plan for the next 6-7 months as to what I need to do exactly. And by August, I will have everything that I need to hopefully get accepted into the nursing program that's near me that I've applied for. I have a 6-month plan. And again, in therapy, my therapist always says, take it one thing at a time. Little things at a time. And for me, these are the little things. I know what I need to do in order to get to hopefully being accepted into this program. And then once I'm accepted, then I know what I need to do to maintain maintain that. And then once I graduate, then I know what I need to do in order to get licensed. Like, you know what I mean? Everything is a process, and I get that. And everything happens for a reason. For sure. Things happen to teach us things. Hopefully, by the grace of fucking God, we are teachable and able to really see and learn. I know I am. That's one thing I gotta say about myself. And that's another thing, negative self-talk. I have an issue with that. Not as much, actually not nearly as much as of late. I know my worth now. I know who I am, how I am. I know I'm not about bullshit. I'm not even going to deal with bullshit. I'm at that point where it's like, I'll completely walk away. I don't give a fuck at this point, and I hate to be vulgar, but I do not give a fuck who doesn't like it. I need to do what I need to do for me, get the fuck out of my way. That's where I'm at right now in my life. If you're getting in the way physically, emotionally, you will be moved. Or I will just walk around you and away. Peace out. Goodbye. See you later. I do, and I've done that recently with acquaintances and people who were trying me just as acquaintances. You give me one little thing of bullshit and that's it. It's done. That's where I'm at. I don't have time to be entertaining retardation. And I don't mean retardation I mean retardation as in staying stagnant and not growing and progressing. I don't have time or energy. I'm going to be 30 years old. I have to start thinking about my life. For me. And my goals and what I want. If somebody wants to come along and be a part of that, that's wonderful. If not, it's still wonderful. Literally, it's wonderful. Why? Because it's for me. And that is what 2019 is going to be for Tori. Hopefully for you guys too. That's my 2019, is just focusing on Tori. What I need, what I want to do, where I want to be. That's this year. That's what this year is for me. That's why I've decided for myself to go along with the nursing program, or try for it at least. I've decided for myself to, as far as YouTube goes, to mix it up a little bit. Be more creative. Try and be more creative. I may be silent on my main channel and even this channel, just kind of thinking up ideas, trying to find cool video ideas. So if I'm silent, that's why. I apologize. I want to make good content. Not that the reactions aren't, but I want to make creative content as well. So if I'm a little ghost still, that's the reason why. I've decided to not move forward with producers. I'm done. I am so done with producers reaching out to me, asking me for my voice and this and that, and just constantly being let down. But why am I being let down? Because I'm putting all of my chips in their basket. When I have a perfectly good basket of my own right here, not being used, and it's mine, it's got my name on it in gold letters, and it's wonderful, and it's bedazzled, and I'm putting all my fucking chips in everybody else's basket, expecting those people to take care of my chips. That's not happening anymore. That's not happening in my life anymore. So fuck those producers, to be quite honest. And if you're one of those producers, it's nothing personal. It really isn't. But fuck you, because I'm not doing it. You should not ever reach out to a person, ask them for their songwriting abilities and their voice, give them no incentive to stand on, none whatsoever, because you just want to pursue your endeavors musically, your own endeavors. Go find somebody else. Go find another fucking idiot who's going to do that. I'm done being that idiot. And I have been that idiot in the past. 150%. I'm done doing it. I'm done. If any other producers come up to me and they don't have what I need monetarily, that's it. There's no moving forward. Same thing with my relationships. You don't have that? You don't have what I'm looking for? No moving forward. I'll move forward in my own life, by myself, for myself, but with you, not happening. Not unless you can give me what I need. That's where I'm at with these producers. That's where I'm at with YouTube. That's where I'm at personally in my life. It's just... it has to be that way. Because for so long I've cowered in a corner, afraid that if I speak up and say, hey, I need this. I demand this because I deserve this. I'm afraid that if I do that and somebody doesn't want to give me that, they're going to walk away, as if that's my fucking problem. It's not. That's your problem. You can't give that. You don't have the money to give me my compensation for my work. Well, figure out why you're even reaching out to somebody in the first place if you don't have what it takes to get the shit done. That's it. It's not a me thing anymore. It's not. I mean, it is a me thing in the sense that, yeah, there are things I need to still work on and improve on, and I'm doing that in therapy, and I'm improving drastically, and I love the improvements, and I love who I'm becoming genuinely, and I love who I am and who I've always been genuinely, and who I'll always be. But if people don't appreciate that, if people don't respect that and respect what I need, then my hands will remain up, because I'm not sinking my grip into any person ever, or any opportunity. If a producer wants to walk away because I'm demanding what I fucking deserve, do you go to your barber for a haircut and expect not to pay? No. Do you go to the store and get yourself toilet paper and expect not to have to pay for that toilet paper? No. Do you go to a singer, songwriter, and ask that person to sing and write a song on your track and expect not to pay? Yeah, you do. Why is that? Oh, that's because I have allowed it to be that way. Do you walk into a relationship with somebody and expect not to be faithful and expect to not consider the other person's feelings or respect the other person's feelings? No, you shouldn't. Because guess what'll happen? You won't have that relationship anymore. So that's that. That's literally, I know what I can give other people. I know what I have to offer, my talents, my abilities, my smarts, everything in that is me. And this is not to sound cocky. Really, it's not. But fuck it. I've never been cocky in my entire life. So I owe it to myself to be a little fucking cocky. And guess what? Here I am, Cocky McCockington. That's me right now. I owe it to myself to get what I deserve in every situation. And if somebody else is not going to give that to me, I'm going to give it to myself. I can make songs all on my own with my own production. I know producers. One of my best friends produces dope music. I don't need producers to produce for me. And guess what? If I did, and I've done this before, I would reach out and pay up. This is the analogy for life. You're coming to somebody in any situation, whatever it is, whether you want their friendship, whether you want them as a romantic partner, whatever it is. If you're going to somebody and you are expecting something from them, you better expect to give back in return. Because if you don't, you will not have whatever that relationship is for very long. Too many times, though, in my life, I've allowed certain things to just be. Why? Because I'm afraid to expect certain things back from certain relationships. And because of that, relationships have remained stagnant. And people keep coming back because they know what they can get out of me. And they know, oh, you know what? Tori will always be there and not expect much from us. So we can just continue to come back and ask her to write on this track or shit on her, whatever it is. And yeah. In doing that, I realized I was never helping myself. I was doing a disservice to myself for being that way. And this is something for me. This nursing endeavor is something for me. Is something I'm doing for myself. For the betterment of Tori and Tori alone. And that's that. That's where I've been. That's where I'm going. That's how I feel. I know I'm a little all over the place and I apologize, but I think I'm going to end it here before I continue to rant and rave. But I love you guys very much. I apologize for being gone. Again, like I said, I'm not going to guarantee consistency because I can't. But it's kind of an update podcast episode. So I hope you enjoyed. Love you guys very much. Until next time, stay real, stay smiling, stay wonderful. Peace out, everybody.